Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Ninten-Dadcast, coming live from, well, not live, taped, but coming live at you, here at you on YouTube. Today is we got a lot of stuff to cover today, man, so this might be a lengthy podcast today, so, a couple things, just a little quick news to get out of the way, first and foremost. For you Xbox fans who have not yet played Kojima's first Sans Konami video game, Death Stranding, that as of today, November 7th, as of recording, it'll be November 8th when you all watch this. Death Stranding is, the director's cut, mind you, is now on Xbox, available for purchase. I don't think download on Game Pass. I don't think so. Let's check. I don't think it's on Game Pass. I think it's just for purchase. Let's see, as my Game Pass app loads up. If it loads up, there we go. It's loading very slowly. Game Pass. Let's see if it's on Game Pass. That would be a heck of a surprise drop recently added. No, not on Game Pass. So okay, so that would be a order or buying on Xbox Digital Store. So that's cool. I have already platinumed that on my PlayStation 4. If it was on Game Pass, I might go back and play some more, but I've already beaten the hell out of that game, so it's not one of those things that I'm going to pick up just to play on Xbox. But if you haven't played that game, it's a lot of fun. Like, it takes a little bit to get going, but once you start getting more of the tools and things like that, it becomes a blast to play. Like, I really enjoyed it. I found myself playing hours and hours during it. In fact, like, it's kind of funny. For those of you who know that I'm a baseball coach, my team had a huge tournament that weekend, and I could not sleep the night before. I went to bed early, but then woke up at 1:30 in the morning and could not fall back asleep. So I just put on Death Stranding and played that for 6-7 hours before I had to get ready to go coach. So it was just kind of a fun distraction. So that's a lot of fun. So I definitely recommend it. I would say I'd give that a solid 8. Definitely an 8, I would say. So, non-alcoholic beer, by the way. So I would definitely recommend that if you haven't played it yet. It's a lot of fun. If you like Kojima's video games, especially like Metal Gear and things like that, it's a blast to play. The story is all over the place, but pretty cool to discover everything. So, yeah, go check it out. And then next up, we have, it was just announced today as well, that there's a new Star Wars trilogy in the works, and the choice of director of all people is Simon Kinberg of X-Men fame, or infamous, since he kind of did all the bad X-Men movies. So it's really, this is the guy we're picking to helm the next Star Wars trilogy. It's like Kathleen Kennedy, does she hate George Lucas? I just have to wonder, because it just seems like everything she's done since being named head of Lucasfilms has just been to intentionally try to tarnish the reputation of Star Wars. I know a lot of people love to say well, Rogue One's at least good. Rogue One is okay at best. It doesn't touch the original trilogy at all, and I dare say at its best it's slightly better than Revenge of the Sith. Slightly. But that's my opinion. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but that's just what I think of Rogue One. And then, of course, The Force Awakens is fun. It was fun to get back into Star Wars after being off for so long. But upon rewatch, and especially where we see where that trilogy goes, it just doesn't age well. So I don't know. Simon Kingsburg doing the next Star Wars trilogy. Hopefully they get good writers. Because, don't let him write it. Because he had a hand in writing and producing the X-Men movies. I guess he's fine as a director. The X-Men movies he did, I can't really find fault in, how they look. They look fine. But the stories are all over the place, and he does have kind of fault in that. So it's on him. But there's no, real news as to what it's going to be about. I'm going to assume this is not the Rey trilogy that they were talking about, so we'll just have to wait and find out. It's God. My only hope is that he just doesn't touch any characters that a lot of us Legacy fans love, like Mara Jade, because I know she's been rumored to come back. Hopefully, he doesn't touch any like OG, original trilogy characters. So let's just fingers crossed. Let's just hope it's something we can all easily ignore. Though I'll probably be ignoring it because, with the exception of like the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, I haven't particularly liked Disney Star Wars. So I mean, wait and see. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe Simon Kinberg he'll surprise all of us. I don't know. I won't judge it until it comes out, but I'll probably wait to watch it on Disney Plus. I probably won't be in theaters unless it's getting like rave reviews from fans and critics. Like everyone's like, "Oh, this is the best Star Wars thing since the original trilogy." Then I'll probably go check it out. But until then, I'm just like, maybe not. So yeah, there is that. Next up on the docket, this one I'm going to do a little more in depth on. We've got the PS5 Pro is out. As I've said before on this channel and on the podcast, that it's not for me. We have reached that point, graphics and fidelity for consoles, to where buying a mid-generation refresh that's going to give you a little bit better graphics and probably better frame rate is, I don't know, that's not going to do it for me. I'm going to avoid that and continue on with my current PlayStation 5. In fact, I've even thought about, after I finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, getting rid of my PlayStation 5. I almost never touch it. I mostly use either my retro stuff, my Switch, or my Xbox. And the Xbox mostly due to Game Pass. The one thing Game Pass I think does really, really well, it makes the Xbox my go-to hardcore system to use. Now I've got it sitting down because the fan, I don't want to touch the mic, but I did pick up the Lenovo Legion Go. I did pick this up to dip my toes into PC gaming. So I'm trying that out. I've been messing around with it. It's gonna partially be like a retro machine. I'm gonna use it a lot for emulation and ROMs and things like that, and playing my backups on it. So that I'm going to use on that. But I've been playing some newer games on there because Prime Gaming gives you all those free games. So I've been playing some of those, and I've tried Game Pass out on it, but I'm going to do a full newbie review for that next week on it once I spend some time over the weekend with it. But back to the PS5 Pros, I get sidetracked as usual. So yeah, the reviews are coming in, and the too long didn't read basically for them is it is a niche luxury item that is better than a PS5, but it's a lot of people thinking it's not worth the $700, $800 if you want a disc drive and a stand. But I'll kind of read one of the better summaries I found on the internet as far as the PS5 Pro goes is from The Verge, and they did give it an 8, mind you, an 8 out of 10. But this is what they said. Find your favorite seat in front of the TV, then measure the distance between your head and the screen. Now measure your screen diagonally. Do you own a 65-inch or 55-inch TV, the most popular sizes? Do you sit 10 feet away or more? Then no, the PS5 Pro is probably not worth $700, not even if you have 20/20 vision like me. The improved visual fidelity just isn't tangible enough at that distance. But if you sit closer, Sony's new game console can make select games look amazing. Blades of grass, pillars of rough-hewn stone, the weave of the backpack, the pop of the higher fidelity, it's enough improvement that I found myself wanting to sit closer or stand or even plug my PS5 Pro into 4K computer monitor. Excuse me. With some games, playing the original PS5 could feel like looking through a dirty window. The PS5 Pro has the power to wipe that window clean. It's kind of funny that excuse me. Sorry, I was doing a lot of yard work today, so just leftover allergies and dust. So, I mean, it's kind of funny with that summary, but it's still got an 8. And then IGN, I didn't bother reading IGN's review. I just wanted to click and see what they thought, and they gave it a 7. So 8-7. Oh. Digital Foundry, just summarizing their video. They feel it's a niche luxury item. It's expensive, but they don't think it will attract new buyers. They feel like the PS4 Pro did, because I believe the PS4 Pro was less expensive than the PS4 at launch, and it was better graphics, better processing speeds. They feel it's an item for people like them, like people who are just like zeroed in on graphics and frame rate and everything like that. So just the frame rate people and the graphics people, this is an item for them. And if you have an extra $700 to spend, kind of thing like that. They are looking forward to what developers are going to do with it in the future, though. They didn't seem like overly impressed with what is out currently as far as enhancements to some of the games on the PS5 Pro, but they are thinking this is something like future wise, that this would be definitely a better system to go through. So and they don't think the average person is going to really be able to tell the difference graphically. I'm sure most people will be able to tell frame rate wise, but yeah, graphically I don't think people are going to be able to tell too much. Like I said, I'm not getting it. I haven't gotten it, and trying to compare it on watching YouTube videos and stuff like that, it's really hard to see those comparisons. My whole thought with that is, like, I was playing Spider-Man 2. I was playing it on performance mode, so at 60 frames per second, as opposed to like the higher graphics. And to me, and I'm not Digital Foundry, but to me, like, Spider-Man 2 looked just fine. Like, the graphics looked perfectly fine. Like, they looked really nice and really good. And we don't really, I shouldn't say we. I don't really need that little extra tick of graphics to get the little bit extra frame rate at the same time to warrant that $700 price tag. And for me, most of my games are physical, so I would need the disc drive, so that's another $80. So we're looking basically probably after tax $800, and then everything else, so nearly $1,000. I'm good on that. Like I've said before, I would just rather build a PC. And like I said, I'm dipping my toes with the Lenovo Legion Go, kind of like just dipping those with the PC. And I will say this, as far as PC going, like, I was kind of hoping with a handheld PC that games would just work, and no, games just don't work. So I've got go through, and a couple of the games that I've downloaded I need to make work, kind of. So it's just fun dealing with all that when it comes to PCs. So I know what I'm getting into, but I'm looking forward to it. In fact, my son, Sean, who is big on PC gaming, he even sent me a video of someone building their own PC for about as much as what it would cost for a PS5 Pro, and that they say competes with the PS5 Pro in every which way. So, I mean, it may or may not. It could just be someone lying on TikTok or something like that. But yeah, that's probably my next step, is after this generation, going into the next, I don't see myself buying another console. If I want to play the newer video games, I'll probably, do it on PC, though. I will get the next Switch, like the successor to the Switch. That is something I will be purchasing. I already know that, because I'm going to be playing Mario and Zelda games until I'm dead in the ground. Well, cremated and my ashes spread across Mount Fuji. That is my dying wish. Half Mount Fuji, half in Loch Ness, because I'm going to party with the monster in death kind of thing. But speaking of the Switch 2, as a stockholder in Nintendo, though this was tweeted out to everybody, so it's not like I was privy to any information, that Nintendo's president did confirm that the successor to the Switch, they just called it the successor to the Switch, will be compatible with the current software, as well as Switch Online. So all of that stuff will transfer over to the new console, which is kind of about damn time, Nintendo. You had online purchasing and online features since the Wii, and then we could transfer it over to the Wii U, but we had to go into a separate Wii menu to do the Wii U. And then all the online shit that we did for the Wii U and 3DS were not synced, and so we like had to buy all that shit again on the Switch. So it's about time, like at least your online is backward compatible, because with the Wii and GameCube, the Wii was backward compatible with the GameCube. So we did have that at least. But with the Nintendo Switch compatibility, backwards compatibility, it said software. It didn't necessarily cartridges, though I'm pretty sure it will be, because they're probably going to do cartridge based unless it's all digital, which I doubt they're going to do, because I just don't see Nintendo going all digital, not in the near future, not in this next console cycle at least. So they'll probably be like similar cartridges kind of thing. So it's just they'll be the same size cartridges, and you just plug it in the same slot. Or they might do something like the DS and the Game Boy Advance, where they're not the same cartridges. You'll have one slot for the Switch 2 cartridge and one slot for the Switch, or do like the GBA and the Game Boy, where it's not the exact same cartridge, but they're the same size, so they can just go in the same slot. I'm sure Nintendo knows what they're doing. They'll figure it out. So I imagine it's going to be called the Switch 2 or Switch something. I can't fathom them not using the same branding, but make it apparent, unlike the Wii and the Wii U, that this is not just like an upgrade. It's a completely new system. You have to buy new hardware and everything like that, kind of like the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo. Though I do remember back in the day there was confusion about that, mostly among parents. Us kids, we knew two different systems, and I'm surprised they didn't try to do backwards compatibility then either. But it is what it is, kind of thing like that. So yeah, the Switch 2, we do know it's going to be backwards compatible, and I'm still saying we don't get an announcement until January at the earliest, because again, like I said before, if they announce anything now as we're getting to the holiday season, it's just going to cannibalize any Nintendo Switch sales going forward. And I know Nintendo wants to beat Sony. They want to have that king. I think they're about 9 million away now, because I know Sony says like 160 million PlayStation 2s were sold, but I think kind of the number all publications and everybody agrees on is about 155 million. So, and I think the Nintendo Switch at last check this week was 146 million. So about 9 million away. So, I mean, it's very reachable for them. And like I said, I don't think the Switch 2 is going to get announced until January at the earliest. And then we probably won't see it go on sale, I would say September, October. It's probably going to be right in the fall and hit at the same time as the holiday season is just kicking in gear. Because I would imagine what I would do if I was Nintendo, I'd probably launch it in September, August at the earliest, but probably September, maybe October. You get the initial people like me, people like you probably, who are going to buy it on launch day or launch week, sell all those out. And then you get that restock coming in November, just in time for the holidays. So all the kids who can't buy their own, and their parents are like, I'll get it for you for Christmas. Boom, they get it for Christmas, and they've got their Switch. That would be the perfect way to strike for Nintendo. And honestly, as much as I want a Switch 2, I don't need a Switch 2. So the further back into next year they push it, better for me, because then I can just save that money and not have to worry. And I'm hoping, I don't know about a price point. I'm hoping just Nintendo's going to do a Nintendo, and it's obviously not going to compete with the PS5 and Xbox Series X. I think it'll just be a tier below. So hopefully it's an under $400 system. And I've heard back and forth rumors about whether or not it will have OLED or not. I hope it does. Because I have not upgraded my Switch, but I've tried out some OLEDs in stores, and a friend of mine has one. That looks so nice, and I would love to have OLED, because I'm not going to buy two Switch 2s, just like I didn't buy two Switches. In fact, Nintendo, not counting rebuys, I've never bought a rebuys, like buying the retro consoles years after I've gotten rid of my consoles because I was a poor teenager. I've not ever bought a refresh of a Nintendo system. I had my original Nintendo Entertainment System that I got in the 80s. Then I got a Super Nintendo in the early 90s. Then I bought my N64. Though they didn't really do a refresh, they just did new colors. Had my original GameCube, my original Wii. Wii U didn't have a refresh, I don't think. GameCube didn't either, so those didn't even have a refresh to get. So never even had a chance. But yeah, so I never bought an OLED. I was very tempted in the last year, but as I was like tempted to buy, or in about the last year, as I was tempted to buy one, it was just like I kept thinking like they're gonna announce it. They're gonna announce the new one, and it's gonna come out around Christmas and stuff like that. I'm not gonna buy an OLED just for them to announce the new system. No, I'm not gonna do that. And then they never did. But had I bought one, it would be out by now. So I didn't want to waste that money. So I'm not going to buy two Nintendo Switches, or two Nintendo Switch 2s. So I really hope they do an OLED so I don't have, just a regular screen. But it is Nintendo. They generally go cheap. So we'll see what they do. I mean, the OLED's been pretty popular right now, so I imagine they're going to stick with it. I don't know. We'll have to see. But, yep. So that is where I'm going to end this because I'm starting to ramble about Nintendo. So just a couple things. Like, let me know what you think about the new Star Wars trilogy announced. Are you excited for it? Probably not. If you're an Xbox owner and or Windows PC for that matter, and you've not played Death Stranding yet, are you going to pick it up on the Xbox? Are you going to try it out, see if you like it or not? PS5 Pro, did you get one? What do you think of it? Do you think it's worth, if you already owned a PS5 or a PS5 Slim, do you think it's worth the extra $800 you paid to have a new PlayStation system, or you got kind of buyer's remorse? I know it's probably a little too early to tell, but let me know what you think of your new PS5 Pro. And then lastly, Switch 2 being backwards compatible, that excites you? Does it move the needle at all whether or not you're going to buy one? I mean, I was going to buy one anyways, but I figured it was going to be backwards compatible. The Switch is just too big, has too big of an install base for them not to do that. It was just common sense. But let me know everything in the comments below, and I thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, guys. Don't forget to come back on Saturday, though, for Saturday morning speed runs. Let's see if we can get another #1 world ranking. Anyways, take care. Bye.